Oh, come on, trustee. This is my.
Will the clerk please read the statement, meeting?
Adequate notice of this regular meeting was provided to the public and the press on January 17, 2024, and was posted at the municipal building in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-7.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bushieri.
Here.
Councilmember Di Benedetto. Councilmember Higgins.
Here.
Councilmember Sparta.
Present.
Council President Rizzuto.
Here.
Yes. Okay. You skipped over that.
Please rise and join me in a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
liberty
and
and
justice
justice for all. Mayor is here, not here. Do we have a written statement that he wishes to enter?
Not that I'm aware of.
May I have a motion to open the floor for public comments? Moved by Mr. Sparta. Is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Higgins. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Right.
Opposed, motion carries. Floor is open to the public for agenda items only. For 3 minutes.
Only,
Yes, please, Mrs.
when you say agenda items only, I assume that means executive session as well?
I don't know there,
Well,
you can talk about the executive session, but there's an executive session. We haven't chosen to make the contents of that session public yet. So that's not really an agenda item. Of course, you can make any comments you'd like at the end of the meeting.
wait. So you're telling me that I cannot address executive session that was on the agenda 10 minutes ago? Is
Yes,
that what you're telling me?
Right.
That's interesting. Okay. All right, I guess I'll come back and ask later. Thank you.
is there anyone else wishing to address the council?
Hi, my name is Karina. I'm very new to this. I guess I clearly have no much idea what I'm doing here, but I'm just trying to be heard. I have an issue with the town.
Tell us what the agenda item is. It needs to be related to an agenda item.
Also, can you move your microphone up, lift it?
It's not on.
Okay, oh, yeah,
I'm sorry.
ma'am.
If
Can
you
you please
come
come
back?
forward? Excuse me, Mark.
This
Excuse me, Natalie. Look forward to this. That way you'll be heard.
And if it's not an agenda item, you can speak later. It's just, they do public session on agenda items first, then they'll handle the agenda items, and then they'll handle other,
Other
whatever else.
issues.
Yep.
Okay, so I think I'm the other issues. I come back.
Okay, okay.
But you know, the benefit of that, you get 2 minutes more.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one coming forward, may I have a motion to close the floor to the public? Moved. Moved by Mr. Higgins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bucieri. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. We have the bills list to review. Is there any questions on the list?
A question on a bill, Tina. I don't know if it's for you or Danelle. For example, on the payroll summary, which is page 1. We have a current expenditure of $42,000 for state unemployment, right? That's a monthly fee. And then the cumulative year to date is $4,533,000. Is that an error? Should that 45,000 or that 4.5 million be 455,000?
I don't know. That would.
Looks like every month it's the same amount times 10 would be 455 instead of 4.5. So that's my question.
Yeah, that's a question for Danelle. I can find out and let you know.
That would be a big number.
Mm.
Are there any other questions? Thank you. We'll move on. All members, council have received the minutes of the meeting, executive session of October 17, 2024. May I have a motion to place it on the floor for consideration?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Sparta. Is there a second? Seconded by Mrs. Bucieri. Are there any questions, comments, or deletions, additions on that? If not, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Sherry?
Yes.
Councilmember Higgins?
Abstain.
Councilmember Sparta?
Yes.
Council President Rizzuto?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And for the minutes of the meeting of October 17, our regular session, may I have a motion to place those minutes on the floor for consideration?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bucieri. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by
Hey.
Mr. Higgins, okay. Is there any addition, questions or deletions on it? Not, may I have all in favor, signify by saying aye.
No.
Aye.
Opposed?
Can I do a roll call,
You want a roll call on that?
please?
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bucieri?
Yes.
Councilmember Higgins?
Abstain.
Councilmember Sparta?
Yes.
Council President Rizzuto?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Moving to our consent agenda. If at the end you have any items that you wish to be separated, please let me know and I'll do so. Resolution 24-274. The approval of a cooperative purchasing contract, uniform cleaning supply. Omnia Cooperative Contract 001299 Cintas Incorporated. Resolution 24-275. The resolution accepting bid of Country Classic Auto Body for a bid for 13-20-24 tanker repair services. Resolution 24-276, refund for totally disabled veteran, block 124 lot 1, Dolan. Resolution 24-277, block 124 lot 1 Dolan, canceling taxes for total disabled veteran. Resolution 24-278, block 124 lot 1 Dolan, canceling taxes for total disabled veteran.
Pat, can I have 24-275?
24-275. Did I miss one?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Is that the one you
okay.
wanted, Bill? Bill, Bill, is that the one you wanted or are you
No.
good?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted one.
no, I'm good.
I have a motion to place resolution 24-274 through resolution 24-278 on the floor for passage.
Did Councilmember Sparta ask for 24-275?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, with the exception of separating resolution 24-275. There a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bucieri,
Move second.
Seconded by Mr. Higgins. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Resolution 24-275. A resolution accepting bid of Country Classic Auto Body LLC for bid number 13-2024 tanker repair services.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bucieri. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Higgins. Any questions or comments on this?
From my understanding, Tina, this was a tanker that was involved in an accident, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Is insurance covering this?
yes. But the problem is, insurance used to send the money directly to the auto body shop.
Mhm.
They're not doing that anymore. So now it gets sent to the township and we're the ones actually cutting the check. So since we're cutting the check, we still have to go out to bid to get, to see if who would be the lowest bidder to actually do the repairs on this. So now that this company came in as the lowest bid, they could do the work and then the money is actually coming from the insurance payment that we already received. But we couldn't disperse it until after because of the amount of it.
And was there any other bidders or no?
No,
Okay, thank you.
Satisfied question?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bushieri?
Yes.
Councilmember Higgins?
Yes.
Councilmember Sparta?
Yes.
Council President Uzito?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Introduction of ordinance 24-23, a bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of new equipment for use by the Department of Public Works of the Township of Vernon in the County of Sussex, New Jersey, appropriating $540,000, therefore and authorizing the issuance of $513,000 bonds or notes for financing such appropriation. May I have a motion to introduce this ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bucieri. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Higgins. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Roll.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bushieri?
Yes.
Councilmember Higgins?
Yes.
Councilmember Sparta?
Yes.
Council President Uzito?
Oh, yes.
Motion carries.
Excuse my haste. I'm trying to get everybody out of here for either the football game.
Yeah, it's a double header tonight.
Oh, is there a game?
Ordinance 24-24, an ordinance addressing clothing allowance for members of volunteer ambulance and first aid squads for serving the township. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 24-20? Moved by Mr. Sparta,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Bucieri. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bushieri?
Yes.
Councilmember Higgins?
Yes.
Councilmember Sparta?
Yes.
Council President Uzito?
Yes.
Motion carries.
To open up the meeting for public comment, may I have a motion?
I'll make,
Moved by
Second.
Mr. Higgins, a second, seconded by Mrs. Bucieri. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. The floor is open to the public for any comment on any issue. The limit of 5 minutes. Please. Would you like a chair? Mrs. Palladini, would you like?
Hi, my name is Jessie Palladini. I have a question.
Mrs. Palladini,
What was the contract you discussed in executive session?
there's a contract for the reassessment program.
So you have a contract.
No, we don't have a contract. A contract is when something is offered and something is,
Well,
so we're looking at the terms and conditions.
okay. What was the anticipated litigation that
The anticipated litigation in a contract, that's part of the deal. when we're setting a contract, you have to consider what possible items within a contract may promote litigation.
No,
No?
that's not what matters for executive session mean. You have to actually have a contract that you're discussing. So, okay,
So,
okay, so you did not have a contract.
no, we don't.
Okay,
We had to discuss the items that may be germane to being put into the contract.
that's not an executive session matter. You say it is?
Real quick, to remind everybody, this is public comment, not question and answer. So you can give your comments to the public or whatever topic or concerns, or you can raise concerns.
That's my,
Executive
my
session,
comment is,
that's perfectly valid, but it's a back.
Okay. my comment is that you cannot go into executive session for a maybe contract or a maybe negotiation or a maybe litigation. The Open Public Meetings Act is very clear for what you can and cannot go into executive session for. Frankly, I'm shocked that you went into executive session on that. I'm shocked that your attorney allegedly told you that you could. And the mayor announced on Facebook today that the purpose of the executive session was to have a conversation, a discussion with the tax assessor concerning a tax assessment program. I'm sorry, not executive session matters. And there is a remedy for this type of thing, and that is the county prosecutor's office or the state attorney general's office. Now, the fine for going into executive session unlawfully is $100. So you probably couldn't care less about $100. But the real punishment is the complete lack of public trust. And that is what you will be garnering for having done what you did. And I'm really disappointed, Mr. Rizzuto. You've been on this council maybe some 12 years. You've been on the Board of Education for a long time. You've been on the Board of Ed, you've been on the Board of Ed, you've been on the Board of Ed. The Open Public Meetings Act is very specific for what you can go into executive session for, and this was not one of them. My second comment, but the CFO is not here. I would like to know why this council or the CFO did not think it was necessary for you to adopt a resolution of approval pursuant to Chapter 159 proceedings of the state statutes to amend your budget for the $9,860 that the Historical Society donated to this township. Ironically, the same night that we thought you were going to adopt such a resolution, you had a Chapter 159 proceeding resolution on the agenda, and you have had several over the last few years. So now King Mensch is saying that you don't have to answer questions. So where do I get the answer to that question if I can't call the CFO and I can't ask you? Why did you feel that you do not have to adopt that resolution to amend your budget? Can you answer that question? No. So you can't call the CFO because the mayor directs her not to answer questions. You can't come to a council meeting and ask the CFO and you won't answer either. Good job. Real transparency. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the council? Ma'am,
Ms. Larson's coming up.
Mrs. Larson?
Unless someone wants to go first.
Yeah, well, I think I'm done with. I have a couple of things I was looking to speak about. I thought I was angry enough when I found out about, I guess, the modification of building permit fees and so on some time ago. And now our homeowners, instead of looking at the portal for free on our township website have to pay $40 or more to the building department to find out if there are open permits, okay? It just seems like the taxpayers are being pecked to death with ridiculous, if it's not feather signs, it's silliness like this. We're having a CO done, and now today I got the gist of this wonderful ordinance 24-14, where the penalties for committing the crime of omitting that little paper from a closing. Mind you, I guess nobody ever figured out that you could negotiate these issues during a closing. The fine is not to exceed $1,000, imprisonment for a period not exceeding 90 days, and/or a period of community service not exceeding 90 days. I don't know, maybe we should just go for the death penalty. What the heck kind of nonsense is this to do to our taxpayers? The people leaving a home are forced to endure these ridiculous fees. They're already paying a smoke serve. Why on earth would we have to pay $100 in some cases if it's less than 10 days? Because closings don't happen like they used to anymore. It's a quick hurry up. Now we're going to close it this afternoon, or maybe we won't. And to expect someone to just keep writing check after check for useless service is just absurd. It's exhausting. And like I said, we are pecking the taxpayers to death with silliness. Then this talk about the annual revaluations. We have a gentleman running for president who's looking to cut regulations. I think this is the exact garbage he's looking to get rid of. Silly stuff like this, okay? Annual revaluations are setting the table for us to have unrealized capital gains taxes every year. They're after us. If the wrong party gets in, they're after us for gains on our properties. Who wants to, does anybody want to pay that? The goal of that is to end homeownership and to have people ending up having to pay, large sums of money every year on unrealized gains, let alone their 401ks and so forth, on property taxes. We're just setting this all up for them. Do we have any thought for the taxpayers that are being subjected to this craziness? I mean, I'm fuming. I'm so mad at we just keep going one after another. It doesn't stop. And it's also heavy-handed. It's just, I feel like we're being ruled by tyrants. And I'm sorry, you're all very nice people, very kind people, and I'm sure you have our best interests. But this is tyrannical. I'm sorry, it's too much. Thank you. Have a good day.
Really, I don't know what I'm doing here.
It's okay.
So good night, my name is Karina. I've been calling the town, especially the Department of Public Work. I have a city pipe that is pushing the water from across the street to my house and is dumping all the water from the rain right at the beginning of my driveway. And it's pushing out all my landscape. It's bringing all the leaves and the dirty and the garbage that has in the streets to my property damage. My property is the excess of water is coming to my septic field. So it's being a nightmare. It's going off to my neighbor's house. It's damaging the side of my neighbor's house. I'm not having any answers. People are making fun. When I call, they don't show any respect.
You called the township?
I called the town. I have a couple of emails, but I just thought it was very disrespectful the way that they replied to me. They don't even bother to look the pictures. I attached one video. I've been collecting the things, and it's just like it's just overwhelming. And I need some help, and looks like nobody's really trying to help.
Tina,
Who did you talk to?
I talked to the mayor. I emailed the Department of Public Work. Yes, I have a few emails. The last one that I sent was last Friday. I still not replied for that email. I do hope they will look. The way that they replied was like I was being crazy. I just said, oh, maybe you misunderstand my message. Just please look at the picture. And I had no response, but I'm new in town, about 18 months or so, and it's a huge issue. And I don't wanna come here because I know how hard it is to get something. So I'm just begging for help, basically.
Can I ask Tina if you can meet with her after the meeting and perhaps you can put together some type of a contact? Relate this with the mayor's contact and see if we can't bring closure to this.
Yes.
It's not the type of star we would like to have with a new resident, okay?
About the football game, if you guys appear in MetLife, you guys may see me as a guest service.
Sorry?
I work at MetLife doing guest services, so you guys were talking about football game on Thursday. Just make sure everybody appears with the tickets on the phone. And that's all.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Is there anyone else wishing to address the council? Mr. Castle, how are you?
Good, how are you guys doing? So Scott Castle from Glenwood. Just to follow up on the reassessment that everybody else was talking about too. I don't claim to have the knowledge that Mrs. Palladini or Mrs. Larson had, but just my 2 cents on it. I'd like to say that I think handling any of it behind closed doors to me is extremely concerning. It's disheartening mainly because I had been seeing, with the additional couple of council members and Mr. Sparta and everything, a little bit more, I felt, transparency that was coming through. And, this is taxpayer money. It's not, town-owned money that we're trying to grab a hold of or something. So it's taxpayer money, which we have a big concern on. And I think, I know a lot of the election was based, or the elections that were going on were based on this specific issue, because it's super concerning to taxpayers to just have this continuing without at least some kind of input on it. So, maybe the closed door was a prelude to a future public meeting that you're going to have. If that is the case, I hope that the public meeting that does come, if it does come, is not just a formality, and that the public can actually weigh in, and that's going to be taken into account by the council. It's just, to me, I can say just for me personally, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but it seems like it's taken, I really felt good about the town council. I felt good about the meetings that I was coming to. I was more concentrating on the Board of Ed, which is a whole nother subject that I won't get into, but I thought that was the concern. So I hate to see steps back from what I did see as progress happening on the council now. So I'm hoping there's more info that's going to come on this and why some of it's being held, as closed session, as opposed to at least letting people see what's being discussed and what's happening. So that's it. That was just me 2 cents.
Before you sit down, be assured that no contract signed, approved, is voted on when in closed session. It's against the law. I've been involved in a number of different contracts for a long period of time, over a number of years. And contrary to what anybody else says, there are reasons why we go into closed session. Because the items being discovered are, and I speak in discovery as brought up before the council, are such that, it's not good for the township to have that information brought out prematurely. So in fact, the items that we are going to discuss, or any item that we discuss in closed session, will always be discussed completely and openly in regular session. The issue that we were discussing, that we've had 2 previous discussions on it, and we will have another discussion prior to any contract signing for public, consideration. So.
Okay, yeah, I mean, again, as long as the public can weigh in and it's not, already discussed in the closed session and pretty much settled on, and then the public gets in there and everybody comes up here and rants and raves, but it just is already pretty much a done deal. So again, it may just be, to me, the optics don't look well by doing it the way that it's done. You know, maybe us not understanding why there was a closed session on it. And, you know, maybe it's my own.
Well, I think one of the things you might want to consider, or, you know, understand is that, you know, before we go into closed session, we have two professionals. We have our constitutional professional, our clerk, who places her license on the line or something like that, determining what's, you know, can be discussed in closed session. And it's also discussed with our attorney. And he would also make sure that what we do is correct. So, you know, simply, I think I've done this before. I don't take the advice of people whose name doesn't have letters after it in determining whether or not there's a valid legal situation and so forth. So,
Yep, okay. Thanks for the.
thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to address the council?
Hello,
Hello.
Stephanie from Glenwood. I just want, Stephanie Beccarello from Glenwood, I'm sorry. I just want to ask, why is it that sometimes we have people coming up here and asking questions and there is a back and forth with the council? And clearly Mrs. Palladini wasn't allowed to answer back and forth. Why is it okay for this gentleman to go ahead and do that? Is anyone going to answer me?
You know, I try to make you know, remind folks all the time. But I'm not the boss of people, so I
understand that.
comment
It's very frustrating as someone in the community, when you have a question and it's valid and you're truly not trying to cause problems, really just so we know. I try to educate myself as much as I can on things that I don't know or understand. And how am I going to get that answer if I can't come to you, who we elected to help us and run our town? So I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to address the council? If not, I'll ask for a motion to close the floor, public. Moved by Mr. Higgins. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Bucieri. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bucieri? Yes. Councilmember Higgins?
Yes.
Councilmember Sparta?
Yes.
Council President Rizzo?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Council comments?
I noticed there's a couple of candidates for the Board of Education in the room, and I'd like to wish you the best of luck. We need you. And the taxes that are being charged are much more higher than what we can establish from this bench. So please do your best and good luck on your election.
No comment.
Ms. Bucieri, any comments?
No comment.
No comment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bucieri. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Sparta. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned.
Oh. I'm just trying to go to JetBlue on my credit cards.
Really?
Trying to go to somewhere.
Somewhere. That's kind of cheap though, right? Like they should have tried Swiss Air. or
That's
something.
better.
I had a credit card once a long time ago. They went to the credit card. Yeah, but and it was before like even like did things online. It was